Hello friends, welcome back again to my channel. Thank you for stopping by, and if this is your first time seeing this channel, you're welcome. My name is Sharon, and this is Jael Nations for Christ Ministries, where we give words of encouragement, prophetic words, and intercession at different times as the Lord gives grace and utterance. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. And I pray that you get your word. Please kindly subscribe. Stay with us. Let's serve God together. And if you haven't gotten the word today from what I'm about saying, look into our older videos. I'm sure something would resonate with you there. Kindly take it back to God in prayer. Let Him expand it more for you. Thank you very much for coming. My returning subscribers, thank you, and thank you. Today we're looking at a very quick word, and this word is for some of us, I inclusive. I'm taking part of this, trust me. Today the Lord brought my attention to a word that will be very important for us, and is something that most of us go through. Trust me, I've been through it a whole lot of times. And the Lord would say He has alternatives. He has alternatives. He's a God that plans ahead. He's a God that sees ahead. He's a God that has you in mind. He never leaves his own stranded. He never leaves his own stranded. For some of us, maybe I give a picture of what I'm talking about. For some of us, when we are used to a certain way of life or a certain relationship or a certain source of comfort, we tend to hold it too tight to the point where we hardly see when that chapter has ended. I have been there. I have been there. I think I've said a couple of times that I haven't really had, in a sense, many friendships in that where I am encouraged, where I am, supported over my period of the wilderness experience I went through. I didn't quite have enough of persons around me, so the very few that stayed with me, or will I say that I had access to lean on in times of dire needs, I tend to hold them too tight. I tend to hold them too tight sometimes that they almost become like gods to me, because I'll be so scared that if this friend leaves now, if this friend goes now, who will do XYZ for me? Who will help me with XYZ? Then I think I did it to the point where the Lord practically brought it to my attention that if Brook Cherith dries up, that He has a widow in Zarephath that He has commanded to sustain me. It hits me like a thunderbolt. If the Brook Cherith has dried up, He also, God, has an alternative, a widow in Zarephath who will still sustain me. And I was like, oof, I didn't quite think of it that way, because I went back to the book of First Kings 17, by the way. Find time to read that. And I kind of saw where God actually told Elijah to go to the Brook Cherith, that He will send ravens to feed him there, which happened for a period of time. And eventually the brook dried up, and it was looking like, okay, this phase, what shall I do now, Lord? What is the next thing? Because this source that I'm hoping on, trusting in, is almost gone. What next? That's what I thought. Just me thinking from my human mind what Elijah might be thinking. And the Lord said, go down to Zarephath, for I have commanded a widow there to sustain you. Mind you, it was God that actually told him to stay at Brook Cherith because he has commanded the ravens to feed him there. So God had that option for Elijah at the time, just like many of us. God brings certain persons our way for a period of time, for a season. And most of us, even I telling you this now, will latch on those persons like, you are my all in all. But God never wants you to hold on to a situation, a person for life. Depend on him because he always has an alternative. He always has other persons that he can raise to take that position in that person's life, because that person was for a season, that situation was for a season, that opportunity was for a season. That is why the Lord is bringing us to understand today that for that one person I always come here for, including myself today, because God really had to bring this to my... He said, hello, I have an alternative. I have an alternative. There are millions and billions of people on this earth. For God to pick another person to take the place of that other person whose duty in your life at that point, at that season, has ended. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but trust me, I'm speaking to myself. He brought it to my knowledge and it hits me suddenly like, oh, not like I didn't know somewhere in my mind that God, God can do it. But you know, when God now practically tells you a thing like, hey, my child, stop mourning over that season that has passed. Focus on the next season. Focus on that next person. Focus on that next chapter. Just focus. Focus on me, God, because I know where to lead you part time, to give you that same sustenance, to give you that same blessing, to even give you a better blessing that will announce you. Because we all know when Elijah got to Zarephath eventually, and we know what transpired between him and the widow who gave him bread, and her meal never ran dry anymore. She just had enough to give him and sustain him. We all knew where the woman's child fell sick and died. And it so happened that Elijah prayed over the child, and the child came back to life. And the woman made a statement that now I believe that the word of God in your mouth is true. You see, God didn't only use her to sustain Elijah, but eventually she now came to believe the word of God in the mouth of Elijah. God is not only taking you to that next phase, He's going to validate you there. God is taking you to that next place and validates you, validates your ministry, validates your authenticity, validates what He has called you to be before those people. So stop latching to the past. If it has passed, it has passed. Even if it was God that took you there in the first place. If it has passed, it has passed. That's God for you. But He's brought me here today to let you know that He has alternatives. Alternatives that will even announce your greatness. Alternatives that will do better than the former. Alternatives that will move you to your next level. Alternatives that will give His name glory in your life anyway. That is a word for somebody today, and I pray it is your word. Stop latching to the past. Stop holding on to what has ended. If it has expired, leave it there. If God has need of it in future and wants to bring you back there, He's still God. He can still do it. But we all understood that God who first sent Elijah to the brook Cherith was the same God who sent him to Zarephath. He has not changed. God has many alternatives to make you who He wants you to be. And today He brought me here to tell you this. I pray it becomes a reality in your life that you will find your next level, your next opportunity, your next sustenance, and the name of God will be glorified. Thank you for listening to me, friends. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.